The largest untapped gaming market in the Western Hemisphere is now up for grabs, and the world's largest casino operators are all in.
Our competition is the best of the best.
But which lucky three will come out on top?
We can actually do this if we have the right site.
And where will it go?
I think that Coney Island speaks for itself.
What better destination would there be besides Times Square?
It's an amazing location that we have in Yonkers.
Today,
That's the Brooklyn Bridge.
we travel
This will be the largest project of all time. This is larger than Yankee Stadium.
the tri-state
We can't wait to hit the jackpot and bring everything here to Queens.
to meet with the top executives behind each bid,
We feel really good about our chances.
So this is an extraordinary opportunity.
who have long kept their cards close to the vest.
People called us the underdogs because we were the last ones to come out, and we purposely did that.
But now they're showing their hand to the Turn to Tara team.
Go ahead and share something with me about your proposal that you've never shared publicly before.
And revealing why they're betting big
Are you feeling lucky?
I am feeling lucky.
on the Big Apple.
We're in the most famous city in the world.
This is going for the jackpot.
3 downstate casino licenses are in play and will likely become the most lucrative economic prizes ever awarded in New York history. So the stakes are high, the competition is fierce, but details on these bids have been scarce until now. Today you're going to hear from some of the most powerful voices in the global gaming industry who have all agreed to reveal details on their proposals never shared before. We've got our roulette wheel ready to go to tell us where to begin. All right, let's start with a pitch from MGM to build a Las Vegas-style casino and a state-of-the-art entertainment center in New York's third largest city. Just 15 miles from the hustle and bustle of Times Square, and only a stone's throw from one of Westchester's busiest thoroughfares, sits a more than century-old landmark where legends like Seabiscuit have long galloped to victory. The Empire City Casino is also home to one of the largest gaming floors in the nation.
We welcome more annual visitors here than the Statue of Liberty.
But now the iconic property is on the brink of transformation.
It's something that we as MGM have been looking forward to since the day that we arrived here in New York.
General Manager Ed Domingo is the man taking the reins as the high-stakes competition for a full-scale gaming license hits a fever pitch.
The application process is finally here. What is your mindset like right now?
Oh my gosh, we couldn't be more excited.
Domingo recently agreed to give us his first sit-down interview and even cleared out the casino floor.
It takes an act of God in the Gaming Commission to be able to clear the floor and get filming out here, but we're happy
Yeah, I
to
see
do
a
it.
lot of security surrounding us
Absolutely.
Domingo made it clear from the get-go why MGM believes it was a smart bet to roll the dice on Yonkers.
These licenses to operate casinos in and around New York City are some of the most valuable that have ever existed anywhere. And we know that there is tremendous competition out there.
We're talking about Wynn, Hard Rock, Caesars. Why should the gaming committee select MGM over all those others?
Well, it's a great question. Those are incredible companies with great histories and great operations. We believe that MGM is a premier operator. We're a global Fortune 500 brand. We operate casinos and resorts the world over. We operate some of the biggest, most exciting, most technologically advanced sportsbook anywhere in the world, and we're going to build one here in Yonkers. We're talking giant screen, wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling, 100-plus foot wide screen.
And a state-of-the-art entertainment center to draw in big acts, such as
Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga, the Jonas Brothers.
Let's talk job creation now. I know that you are expecting an expansion to create 13,000 direct and indirect jobs, but I want to drill down. What kind of jobs are we talking about here? We checked heading into this interview, and the average casino worker in New York State made $48,000 last year. Nationwide, the figure's even less than that, just under 30,000. Are those the type of salary ranges we can expect here?
Our employees at this facility specifically make, I would put it an argument that they're the highest wages and benefit packages of any casino in the country. We have many employees here who are making over 6 figures a year.
So realistically, how far off are we from seeing those help wanted signs? When do you think workers in Yonkers and the Bronx and beyond can expect to start applying for these jobs?
It's really up to the state, unfortunately.
How much gambling revenue are you forecasting?
We're a $600 million gross gaming revenue property today. We think that number easily goes up to $1 billion.
When you're talking about $1 billion, we did hear similar projections back when those 4 casinos were selected upstate, yet almost all of them have fallen short of revenue targets. Why are you confident that the same thing wouldn't happen here in Yonkers?
Tara, that's a great question. The key to any development project is to understand the population of an area and the discretionary income in an area.
Let's play a game of hypothetical, shall we?
Sure.
There are 3 downstate licenses up for grabs. Let's say you get one of them, the other one goes to Resorts World at Aqueduct, and the third goes to an operator somewhere down in Manhattan. Aren't you at all concerned that the downstate market for gambling will become oversaturated?
Honestly, I'm not. If you look at the markets like Chicago, Philadelphia, the number of operators you have in those places versus the number that we're talking about putting in New York City, I think that there's plenty there for everyone to draw from.
Now all MGM has to do is play their cards right. All right, let's see now where we're heading next. We are off to one of the most famous neighborhoods in New York City, Coney Island, for the first interview with the Chief Executive Officer of the Saratoga Casino Hotel. So you're really betting big on Coney Island here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's such a unique location. I mean, just look at some of the attractions that we have here.
Sam Garrity, the CEO of Saratoga Casino Hotel, joined us steps away from the cyclone for a recent stroll along one of America's most iconic boardwalks. Do you think that the history of this location gives you a leg up in the application process?
Absolutely. We're in the most famous city in the world, in one of the most famous neighborhoods in New York City.
But Garrity is hoping in a few years, in addition to downing one of these and riding in something like this, you'll also be able to visit this place.
Right now, we're standing on what would be the center of the casino and entertainment district.
And here's what the project dubbed the Coney would look like. In addition to a 330,000 square foot gaming floor, Garrity and his partners, Thor Equities, the Chickasaw Nation, and Legends Global Planning, want to build a 500-plus room hotel and a 90,000 square foot state-of-the-art convention center. Garrity says the goal is to revitalize the local economy without losing its character.
Brooklyn is known for its vibrancy and its character, and we don't plan to lose any of that.
But will gamblers want to take the trek from Manhattan to Coney Island?
So one of the nicest things is that we have the subway right here.
Still, accessibility remains one of the main reasons some insiders view the Coney as the underdog in the high-stakes competition.
I can understand where they're coming from. I think our actions and the entertainment district that we're proposing speaks for itself.
Unlike some of his highest profile competitors, Garrity says his company is no stranger to betting big on the Empire State, having already built and operated the first racino in New York.
Our strength is the relationships that we've cultivated with our community in the state over the past almost 20 years. We're used as the gold standard, and with our plans, we'll bring in thousands of construction jobs, thousands of good-paying union jobs and careers.
Yet the project has faced considerable community opposition in recent months.
Coney Island is a family neighborhood.
If you put a casino in a neighborhood, gambling addiction goes up, crime goes up.
The myth of an increase in crime, it's just that, a myth. There'll be more lights, there'll be more security, and it'll in fact decrease crime.
The study from the commission that forecasted $5 billion in revenue, does that sound like a realistic number?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big number. And you know, we've done internal studies, and the metropolitan area of New York City is an underserved market. So I really think the sky is the limit.
Still to come, 2 down, 11 more proposals to explore.
What we're bringing is a property that fits what's already in the local neighborhood.
Regardless of how long it takes, you're in it.
Yes, this is a worthwhile price.
This is Going for the Jackpot, and we'll be right back. nearly a dozen gaming giants.
I've been in and around this business for 30 years. It's the biggest opportunity that I've seen.
Rolling the dice.
I don't want to discount anyone. We know how strong those companies are.
But which three will ultimately win the ultimate jackpot? I'm Tara Rosenblum, and this is Going for the Jackpot. Today we're speaking with all the major players about their plans, long kept secret, to bring Las Vegas-style table games here to the New York City area. We've got our roulette wheel selecting locations at random, guiding us where to go next. Let's see. All right, off we go to Times Square, where the largest gaming operator in North America, Caesars, has teamed up with New York City's largest commercial landlord and a music legend. This is the largest untapped gaming market in the Western Hemisphere.
No question.
We are in the crossroads of the world.
I'm the naked cowboy.
Just steps away from Broadway's biggest hits. Let's put you in the bling hat, the I Love New York bling hat, for a tour with the chief executive officer of the nation's largest gaming operator.
You know, I've been in and around this business for 30 years. It's the biggest opportunity that I've seen.
Caesars CEO Tom Reeg is one of roughly a dozen gaming giants rolling the dice. It's on 3 highly coveted casino licenses that would allow them to bring Las Vegas-style table games to the New York City area. Do you see this as almost the clash of the titans?
You've got all of the major players that compete against each other across the country. It's intriguing to watch.
Caesars Palace Times Square would be located inside an existing 52-story skyscraper owned by partner SL Green along 45th and 7th, and include 250,000 square feet of gaming space along with a 950-room hotel.
Here you get a sense of the arrival that you can create.
But once we arrive upstairs, this is quite the view. Reeg shows us what he hopes will be his ace in the hole.
There's so much energy already here that you can tap into, and it's very exciting.
Walk me through, in greater detail than you ever have before, your plans to transform this site.
We will have terraces here that will be food and beverage, bars that overlook Times Square. You're going to have no gaming on the ground floor. You're going to have to go up into the property. You're going to have spectacular villas.
How much revenue are you projecting a casino of this scope to bring into the state of New York?
But I'd say we already pay north of $100 million in taxes, and we would expect this property to exceed that by a healthy margin.
Talk to me about your decision to partner with Jay-Z. What value is he bringing to your team?
Who better in terms of New York entertainment to partner with than Rock Nation? So they are involved in the pursuit of the license, they're involved in the planning of the project.
From what you've seen and heard, who do you view as your stiffest competition at this point?
I mean, I look at the Wynn project in Hudson Yards. I look at Steve Cohen's project out at Citi Field. I look at the Sands project in Nassau. But I don't want to discount anyone.
Your opponents of this proposal have said it'll make Times Square feel less safe and less livable in an already congested area. Why are they wrong?
So we have plans in place to deal with security and traffic issues. We have traffic consultants already with plans where we would reduce the congestion in Times Square from where it is today.
Reveal something for me right now that you have never disclosed publicly before about this project.
You can expect that you're going to have an unbelievable sportsbook experience at this site. And if you think about our partnership with Rock, if you combine the two, I think you'll have something that's unmatched in the country.
When do you think that they're going to hand out these licenses?
I'd like to ask you that question.
When do you hope they're going to hand out the licenses?
I hope they're going to hand them out as soon as they possibly can. I'd expect we're looking at an award sometime in 24.
A long wait for a big bet on America's most populated city.
This is a worthwhile prize.
Okay, next up, let's see. Okay, we're gonna stick in Manhattan, where Wynn Resorts and related companies is teaming up to pitch a proposal to build a casino right in the Hudson Yards neighborhood.
We're here on 11th Avenue in Manhattan at the Hudson Yards. And if you've ever driven past here, you've probably looked over towards the Hudson River and thought to yourself, what are they going to do with this massive piece of land that is currently home to a sunken train yard? Well, all you have to do is look across the street to see what's possible. In the eastern part of the Hudson Yards, you've got the vessel that tourists flock to every day, as well as the High Line right in the area. But what about the western part of Hudson Yards? If Related Companies has its way, it'll be the new home of an entertainment, resort, and gaming destination. And they believe they found the winning formula to make it happen. Just over a year ago, Related announced a partnership with Wynn Resorts to build right next to the Javits Center, promising thousands of permanent and construction jobs. This past May, they revealed a revised plan costing $10 billion, which includes 2 skyscrapers. One would be an office tower, while the other would include a 1,700-room hotel and 250,000 square feet of casino gaming, not to mention restaurants and shops. Related would also create a park to connect the popular High Line, a public school, and 329 affordable units in a separate apartment tower. What helps their chances? Well, it's walking distance from the Javits Center, as well as public transit. The views on the river would be picturesque for sure, but also this is an already empty space, ready for a project like this to call it home. There are hurdles to overcome, though. Some members of the community are against the proposal, and it still hasn't received the full support of elected officials. Plus, they're not the only Manhattan bid. We'll have to see if this vision becomes a reality, or like so many plans for this land, falls short.
From Long Island to Queens, we've got a whole lot more to show you.
It's just the first step in what we think we could bring here to Queens.
You're watching News 12, and this is Going for the Jackpot. The race to secure a full-scale gaming license in the New York City area has officially begun.
Every major operator, every real estate developer.
It doesn't surprise us that the best in the business are coming out to compete for these licenses.
And the competition is shaping up to be an epic battle.
This whole thing is unprecedented.
And we can't wait to get started.
Between some of the world's largest casino operators and developers.
We thought this was the best location to do what we do.
This would be the largest project in Bronx history.
And in the gaming industry, this is considered the crown jewel.
Let's learn more now about, here we go, plans to bring a casino to Long Island. Earlier this summer, Nassau County reached a lease agreement with Las Vegas Sands that gives them control over the Nassau Coliseum site.
Yes to the casino! Yes to the casino!
Public opinion is divided and the stakes are high.
All the money that you guys generate can go to schools, can go to commitments, to make sure that you can do everything you can to build your communities, to provide opportunities.
These are not jobs that are going to keep our young people here in the county. I believe it's a short-term fix with long-term problems.
The plan to build a state-of-the-art casino in the heart of suburbia sets out on a road covered in governmental red tape. Yes, the Las Vegas Sands has already acquired the lease agreement to operate in Nassau County at the former home of the New York Islanders and the surrounding property, spending millions to do so, with the promise of millions more on the way.
We believe that that will bring jobs, economic prosperity, tax relief, and improved safety here in Nassau County.
However, Governor Hochul would still have to grant a license to construct a gaming facility here. The developer says it's committed to building a resort with or without approval to operate a casino.
We thought this was the best location to do what we do, which is build large-scale resorts. We don't build casinos.
But even if this project does receive state approval, there are still hurdles to clear here in town government. The town of Hempstead would have to approve significant zoning changes.
Well, we know something's going to get built there. The county reached an agreement where either Plan A, which is a casino, or Plan B, commercial residential, will go there. It really lies in the governor's hands.
Do you have a preference?
You know what, right now I don't, because we really don't have any plans on the table.
And there are other issues. Las Vegas Sands Senior Vice President and former New York Governor David Patterson, who grew up just minutes away from the site in question, admits traffic is a valid concern. But he says fears about an uptick in crime are not based on reality.
They're still thinking about when they watch the movie The Godfather, or Casino, or Bugsy, or Atlantic City.
Meanwhile, Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman says putting the Nassau hub in the hands of the Sands is a bet he's willing to take, with or without a casino.
Let's say the casino licenses go out, Sands doesn't get one. Are you worried that the commitment they're showing now, while it's still on the table, may not be there should that happen?
No, because the commitments to build a luxury hotel, the commitments to build an entertainment center are ironclad. In either event, it's going to be a great project. But I think we're going to get the casino license because this is the best application that I've seen so far.
Still to come.
We've been able to attract tens of millions of visitors to Southeast Queens.
We head to Queens, downtown Manhattan, and the Bronx. This isn't for the faint of heart, isn't it, when you're talking those kinds of numbers?
Anyone who's building this is going to be in the billions and billions of dollars.
The potential is tremendous.
We are taking you behind the curtain of one of the most high-stakes economic competitions in New York history.
We purposely did that because we wanted everyone else to get beat up in the press.
The world's most powerful casino operators and real estate developers all battling for the chance to win one of 3 full-scale downstate gaming licenses.
The New York City gaming market is the untapped mecca of gaming in the country, and some say in the world.
Now we're getting the most in-depth look at their plans to date. Our roulette wheel is showing us the way. We head off now to Queens to find out what's in store for the only other site that has a pre-existing casino floor other than the Empire City Casino in Yonkers. Resorts World New York likes their odds a lot, and there's good reason behind all that optimism. So you've got your chips all lined up and you're ready to go, huh?
We are.
With over 6,500 slot machines, 1,300 video table games, and a sparkling new hotel.
We'll walk this way.
There was a lot of ground to cover during our visit to Resorts World at the Aqueduct Racetrack.
This is the second floor of our casino.
And our tour guide, Megan Taylor, who was the Vice President of Government Affairs, was eager to show us every square inch.
It's just the first step in what we think we could bring here to Queens.
This sprawling property in Queens, owned by Genting Group, is widely considered a front-runner in the high-stakes battle for a downstate, full-scale gaming license.
As you know, it's very much expected that 2 out of these 3 licenses will go to the properties with existing racinos. One of them in Yonkers, one of them right here, your property. How are you feeling about your odds right now?
So we are, first of all, extremely excited about the opportunity to be vying for one of these licenses. It's been part of the Genting leadership's vision since we entered into New York 12 years ago. We are approaching this RFA process just like I think all of our competitors are, in that we are not expecting ourselves to be a shoo-in.
To say the competition is fierce would be an understatement, wouldn't it?
It would. It would. Our competition is the best of the best, right? The New York City gaming market is the mecca, or the untapped mecca of gaming in the country, and some say in the world. Right? So it doesn't surprise us that the best in the business are coming out.
At the end of the day, how much do you feel that your existing footprint will give you a leg up in this bidding process?
I think it's a timing issue, right, Tara? So we know how long it takes to build casinos in New York, and we believe that we're going to be able to do so within months as opposed to years from some of the competitors.
Your team, Genting, is spending more than any other operator right now in terms of lobbying behind the scenes here in New York State. Why?
We are an existing operation, and with that comes legislative issues that we work on throughout the year, regardless of if we are vying for a downstate commercial casino license or not.
A study commissioned by the State Gaming Commission found gaming revenue in the New York City area could surpass $5 billion a year. Do those numbers sound realistic to you?
That overall revenue number, some could say that it is completely unattainable. Some will say it is somewhere near where it's going to be. I think only time is going to tell.
I remember covering the opening day of your other property upstate, in the Catskills, and there was a lot of optimism from your team, but the casino has failed to meet its revenue targets. How would you avoid history from repeating itself here in Queens?
So I'm actually really excited to say that Resorts World Catskills has turned around. We have seen increased visitation, increased gaming revenue. So we don't think it's an unsuccessful property at all. But again, we're talking about two very different markets. So here in Queens, we have almost 3 million people right outside of our doors.
What's the tension like behind the scenes right now?
I'm gonna call it excitement and not tension.
Go ahead and share something with me about your proposal that you've never shared publicly before.
So one of the things that I can share, and I think that you will see an enhancement to meeting and event space. You will see more resort type amenities. So whether that's additional food and beverage or beautiful pools, maybe rooftops.
Regardless of who gets picked, do you think that New York is poised to give Atlantic City and Las Vegas a run for its money?
Oh, I do. I do. New York is on the precipice of being viewed, I think, as one of the key gaming destinations in the world.
That's a bold prediction.
It is a bold prediction. You wouldn't have everyone coming out to compete if it wasn't a viable market to compete in.
Now we're gonna take a trip down to Lower Manhattan to visit the company that rebuilt the World Trade Center after 9/11. Silverstein Properties was the last developer to go public with their plans, but they think their pitch soars above the competition.
We have a lot of air and light around us.
High above Manhattan,
That's the Brooklyn Bridge.
on the 80th floor of 3 World Trade Center,
Larry Silverstein actually lives in that building.
we're getting an exclusive tour of a private exhibit
Over here we have a model of the Oculus.
showcasing the history of Manhattan's most storied skyscrapers
So it's really a connector.
and the efforts to rebuild on hallowed ground.
There was a big question of what we do here. Does it get rebuilt?
A heated governmental approval process, not unlike the one Marty Berger, the CEO of Silverstein Properties, is dealing with now. In his historic bid to win one of 3 downstate full-scale casino licenses.
I think it's so ironic. There's this article that says war at ground zero, which really speaks to how difficult and controversial that process was for your team over the years. What similarities to all of this do you see to the casino process?
Well, you can see the public sentiment and you can see the early groups coming out talking about how they don't want something in Times Square or they don't want something in Long Island. Whenever you have anything, you have controversy. And that's why we stayed out of the press for so long. But, you know, we know how to deal with controversy and adversity, and we try to rise above it.
Silverstein Properties wants to build their casino in Midtown Manhattan at an undeveloped site along 41st Street and 11th Avenue.
Why do you think that building a casino just north of the Javits Center is a more ideal location than, let's say, Times Square?
I just think it's less controversial. We're not in any congested area. We're not overshadowing any residences.
The Avenir, French for the future, would feature 2 46-story towers connected by a public sky bridge and include 12 restaurants, a 1,000-room luxury hotel, more than 100 units of affordable housing.
We may be one of the only proposals to do that.
And a 1,000-seat performance hall.
It's 750 feet up in the air.
And they're teaming up with Pennsylvania-based Greenwood Gaming to bring an 8-story, 600,000 square foot gaming complex to life.
Several of your competitors, as you know, and fellow developers have teamed up with gaming operators with perhaps stronger name recognition. Tell me why you think that bringing in a lesser-known operator gives you the advantage.
Well, I think we'll have the same access that the big players will have to the market, but we wanted to bring someone in who was like-minded, like we were a family-run business.
Walk me through your plans to ease congestion at this site.
I don't have a great answer for you other than we've done a lot of traffic studies here. We'll work with the Port Authority and what they're doing with their bus terminal. We don't expect a lot of people to be driving their cars here. We expect a lot of people to be getting dropped off.
So how long are you estimating it would take to construct it?
Could take 48 months.
4 years. So that's significantly longer than some of your competitors that we've spoken with.
I think that they're not telling you the truth.
Do you see yourself as an underdog, front runner? What's your mindset?
Well, people called us the underdog because we were the last ones to come out, and we purposely did that because we wanted everyone else to get beat up in the press. And so we love our chances. Unfortunately, there's a lot left to the imagination because we don't really know how this is going to be engineered, if you will. And we don't know how political it's going to be, how much you just win it on the merits. So it's going to be an interesting process.
This is a question I've asked all of your competitors. Tell me something about this project that you have not publicly revealed before.
I think it's going to be a shock to the community of how much we're going to ingratiate them into this project from an artist's perspective, from a chef's perspective. The other thing that we haven't told anyone is that I really want Larry Silverstein to play the piano publicly on our Sky Bridge when we open this thing.
What song would you like him to play?
I Love New York.
But whether or not his pitch will be music to the ears of the New York State Gaming Commission remains to be seen. Up next, we'll take you from the home of the Mets to an iconic New York golf course.
We worked harder to listen to what the community wanted.
When Going for the Jackpot returns. The world's largest gaming operators are competing for the ultimate jackpot.
I think even though we're an underdog, I think that gives us certain advantageous perspectives.
A chance to bring Las Vegas-style slots and live dealer tables to the New York City area.
There is no company that can run at high tax jurisdictions like we can.
But what plans do the major players have in store should they win one of 3 highly coveted licenses?
We're able to draw customers from Long Island, be able to draw customers from Westchester, even Northern Jersey.
All right, let's see now where we're heading next. Here we go. The team behind the Bally's Casino proposal is rolling the dice on a location in the Bronx, but have yet to show their hand on future plans to expand to the city until now.
We'll call it Bally Links.
After a lengthy legal saga and tense negotiations, former President Donald Trump's name will finally be stripped off this highly visible public golf course near the Whitestone Bridge.
Do you have a date in mind?
We are still working on the design, but I think everybody is aligned to try to get this done in weeks, not months.
In his first interview since inking the deal to operate the Trump golf links at Ferry Point, Bally's chairman Soo Kim opened up about his hopes for the future of this nearly 200-acre site in the Bronx and the 18-hole golf course that became a political flashpoint following the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol.
Did we know that we were going to be able to come to a deal on the golf course? No. And then, to be completely frank, the Trump organization, they did a fantastic job running the course. But obviously, their community relations, it is what it is. It hasn't been great, right? And so it actually gives us an opportunity to fix this problem between the course, the city, and the community.
What was the price tag on the final contract?
We're not disclosing that right now.
It has to be in the tens of millions.
It's in the tens of millions.
Regardless, Kim is hoping the deal will give Bally's a leg up in the fight for a full-scale gaming license.
We'll be the only casino bidder that has a world-class golf course. This would be the largest project in Bronx history, larger than Yankee Stadium. We're able to draw customers from Long Island, be able to draw customers from Westchester, even Northern Jersey.
As for what he thinks will be Bally's ace in the hole,
we run casinos in the highest tax jurisdictions in America. So remember, New York State is a high tax jurisdiction for casino gaming. So right now the slot operators in the downstate area pay about 50%. Now, really, which is the highest in the land, save one, which is Rhode Island, where we play close to 70. And so there's no company that knows how to run at 70 other than ourselves, because we're the only one. I think many, many people believe that the business in New York could be the same as the business in, let's say, Las Vegas or Macau. But just a different tax jurisdiction makes it a different business. And so I think that's something that I think our competitors take us very seriously, because they know what we're good at. They look at a tax jurisdiction like 70%, 50%, 40%. They're like, I don't want it. Now, New York is a prize so large that even the big guys are coming in. But remember, I think people are going to be bidding a tax rate. I remember the way that RFP is designed. We thought that there could be. This is one of the major questions I sort of answered when the RFP actually came out, was that ultimately the operator would bid for the project and the tax rate. So I think you can get the sense maybe that we're going to bid a higher tax rate. And is that a challenge to the other bidders? I don't know if it's a challenge. I think it's just reality. And we plan to deliver the most gaming revenues to the state. And to do that, that's building the right facility with the right tax rate, and you start there. And that's the, it's so interesting because everyone's like, oh, I'm going to promise this or that or this and that. It's like, that's not what gets you to answer that 70% RFP question.
What do you do if you don't win one of the 3 licenses? Sure. Bally's is not known for operating golf courses. In fact, this would be your first golf course in your portfolio. So what would you do, sell the site?
Well, no, I think that it's funny you say that. We're not, obviously we're optimistic, but we also believe that we have a New York State presence one way or another, right? We actually are one of the 9 companies that have the ability to offer sports betting across the state. So we'll be here in one way, shape, or form anyway. The other thing is, 40 million plus people drive on the Whitestone Bridge every year. That's a lot of people driving by a bridge, driving by a sign. That sign will say Bally's. Look, I grew up in New York, right? So obviously the Bronx is a wonderful, if you think about it, it has wonderful sort of national, even global, brand awareness. Remember, it's the only borough that starts with a definitive article, right? It's the Bronx, the Bronx. It's not, it's not the Manhattan or the Queens, right? So I think in that way, it's amazing.
And then there's the proposal involving a big name in the New York sports world. Mets owner Steve Cohen wants to build a casino right outside Citi Field as a way to draw in visitors near the ballpark.
Right now, work is underway to reimagine the space surrounding Citi Field. Could a casino be part of those plans? Mets owner Steve Cohen might be willing to bet on it.
Citi Field is surrounded by 50 acres of asphalt. Plans are in the works to revitalize the Willets Point neighborhood with affordable housing and a soccer stadium being built nearby. Mets owner Steve Cohen might be willing to take a gamble on a potential bid to build a casino. The baseball titan has released few details about his vision to transform the area. Some people worry a casino would only bring more congestion here.
That's probably the biggest reason, the traffic.
The potential plan isn't a home run. Cohen faces a unique challenge if he wants to roll the dice. The vacant lots surrounding the stadium are considered parkland, and state lawmakers would need to pass a bill to allow Cohen to build here. Some don't want to see that happen.
This is a place for enjoy with the family. A lot of people are going to start coming over here just to play, not to enjoy, the surrounding.
This is Going for the Jackpot, and we'll be right back. As the future of New York's gambling sector starts to unfold, some of the top gaming operators in the world are sharing their plans for expansion with News 12. But not everyone is opening up about their historic bid for a full-service casino in the New York City area. When it comes to gambling, some of you are the type who like to root for the long shots. Well, in this high-stakes competition, there are no shortage of them. Our Kurt Semder now introduces us to 4 potential bidders who are all in on their proposals.
3 of them are in Manhattan, the biggest of which is from the Soloviev Group, to convert 6.7 acres of unused land that they call Freedom Plaza into a mixed-use casino project. Reportedly, the $3.5 billion project would not just include a casino, but also over 1,000 hotel rooms, residential towers, a democracy museum, and over 500 affordable housing units. Just blocks from the UN, the casino would be operated by Mohegan, should the state choose this ambitious project. Less than a mile away, Saks Fifth Avenue wants to be more than a destination for fashion. Their parent company, Hudson's Bay Company, wants to take the top 3 floors of their flagship store on Fifth Avenue, right across the street from St. Patrick's Cathedral and Rockefeller Center, and turn it into a luxury casino. You wouldn't have to go through the store, there'd be a separate entrance. Their pitch? They say their project can be completed and ready to launch in less than a year. Staten Island Borough President Vito Fossella has proposed his borough as a potential home at the former New York Wheel site, but at this time there's no official word that they're getting in the game.
But then there was 12. Shortly before going to air, we learned Stephen Roth's Vornado Realty Trust was likely going to bow out of the high-stakes competition and abandon their original plan to bring a casino to the former Hotel Pennsylvania near MSG. So where do things go from here? Well, if you're hoping to place your bet soon, that's not going to happen. The race to build 3 downstate casinos is more like a marathon than a sprint. For instance, though the application process, attached with a $1 million fee, officially kicked off in January of 2023, the hundreds of questions submitted by casino operators and developers to the State Gaming Commission weren't answered until the end of this summer. Several hundred more questions were submitted earlier this month, and it won't be until those get answered that the next stage of the competition will get underway. It involves the approval of a local community advisory committee made up of 5 to 6 local elected officials and leaders in each municipality where the bid is located. This group will have a highly prominent say in the process, as 2/3 of its members will have to sign off on a bid in order for it to move forward. All proposals will also need zoning approvals and commit to a minimum capital investment of $500 million before it heads off to the consideration of the Gaming Facility Location Board and several public hearings. The actual State Gaming Commission will then have the final say on the winning 3 proposals.
So which proposal will come out on top? Well, that is the multi-billion-dollar question before the New York State Gaming Commission right now that likely won't get answered until sometime in 2024. But we're going to be following all the developments for you very closely. And in the meantime, if you want to learn any more information about any of the proposals we've shared with you today, just head to the features section on news12.com and click on the Turn to Tara tab. I'm Tara Rosenblum. This is Going for the Jackpot.